Hello everyone, Jak Syn here on behalf of TourFiend.com and Future Daze, and today we're sitting with Holly Dodson of Parallels. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Well, doing as well as can be. It's a nice sunny day out, as I'm sure you know, and the weather's nice. But even though we have all this other stuff going on in the world, I'd say it's a pretty nice day today.
It is, and we're healthy, so we have a lot to be grateful for.
That is very true. We do have a lot to be grateful for. Everybody out there, you still have your health, you still have the sunshine outside, and we can still go on walks, right?
Yeah. Necessary.
So today, we're going to ask you a couple of questions and see where it goes from here. Are you ready to get into it?
So ready.
Here we go. What are 3 of your most memorable moments performing live?
It's hard to choose 3 because there have been quite a few, which I'm very grateful for. But I narrowed it down to eras. So 2011, we got to play in Moscow, Russia. And that was my first time ever in Europe, or Eastern Europe. And our first overseas show. So we basically just got flown over for the weekend. The promoter was also our tour guide. So he, showed us all the cool spots around Moscow. And we were there for a weekend. So we basically just didn't sleep. So jet lagged, played our show, sold out, people going crazy and until 7 a.m. And that was pretty unreal. We got home, we were like, did that just happen? Yeah, just happened. So that was cool. And then fast forward, Stockholm, VHS Vision, which we got to play with Dana Jean Phoenix, who's also from Toronto. And that was really cool because we got to see one of our homies in Stockholm, and we were halfway across the world. And Time Cop 1983 also played that show. And it was just, again, the promoter treating us so well, being amongst all the synth fans, all of our people. And it was wonderful. So that's my second one. And my third is Outland, Toronto, 2019. That was last year. And again, and Dana was also on that show, which was fun. And it was just, again, the synth community and people you see online and getting to meet them face to face. And it was just a really fun show in my hometown. So I got to just roll right into bed after. It's great.
Isn't that great to see the love for the scene, the synthwave scene? Isn't it just great, all the fans, the promoters, the artists, how much they really work and really just show their love for this type of music? Isn't it just great to see that?
It's unlike any other genre, I think, in that way, and that it's such a community, and it feels very, it just kind of feels like how it should be, how we should share music and share excitement for it. And a lot of fans are also in bands, so it's and I'm equally as much a fan as I am in a band. So it's cool in that way, and that we all kind of collaborate and can all get along. It's very supportive. It just feels very, very real, which is nice.
Well, that's so awesome. And what's funny is that the fans, they're very diverse. It's a huge rainbow of people. Whenever we do the events here in LA, the kind of people that we get coming out of here, it's you have your metalheads, you have your people who are into hip hop, you have your people who are into, electronic, dubstep music, you have your people who are just you love post-punk, goth, whatever. You just get this huge, diverse crowd of people that really just kind of go, you know what, I know this artist, or I love this artist's music, or I like the way that this sounds. It's just an amazing, amazing thing to be a part of and to see.
Yeah, I mean, which is how it should be, I could bring my dad to the concert and he'd, have a good time. There's just all ages, all, ethnicities, and it's really great. It's really cool.
And you know what's funny too is that two of the three of your favorite performances, the last two that you mentioned, Dana actually said the same thing, and she mentioned you, and how she thought it was really great being able to perform with you on those events. So yeah. Oh, and she says hi, by the way.
I say hello too.
What would you say is your favorite album/EP that you've worked on?
You're asking me to like choose my favorite child, basically. Well, I mean, I really like what I'm working on now. I've been working on some new stuff, and I tend to write when I'm inspired. Like, I'm not one of those people who can like force it to happen. Yeah, so I've kind of just like, jumped in and just opened Logic and been like, I don't really know what I want to write, but let's just channel whatever inspiration comes, make it happen. So, so yeah, I've been writing a lot recently, and I think besides that, I think my favorite was then the one before that, which was a soundtrack that my bandmate Radio Wolf and I did, and that's actually coming out in May. So we, worked very closely together and got to write to picture. So it's for a movie called Proximity. It's a sci-fi film. We kind of just like could take lyrical inspiration from the movie. It was a very different way of working than how I've ever worked before. So I think that was my favorite, because the other times it's very, in the studio alone, trying to put your heart out on the DAW. And, this was not a very lonely experience. This was very collaborative, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, that's so great to hear. I mean, Lost Angel is what it was called, right? So Lost Angel, be sure to check that out. It's pretty amazing. I'll tell you that. And I know a lot of people, like, when they hear it, they're gonna go, wow. And I'm sure they're gonna really be looking forward to seeing the movie, and then you're like, oh, I recognize that track right there.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do the whole soundtrack, so there's 7 songs coming up. And thank you for checking it out and your kind words. That means a lot.
Thank you for making some really amazing music, by the way. So the musical journey in Parallels, what was the drive behind getting you into making music and performing live?
Parallels has been an entity. We've been doing this for 10 years. So, the driving force, it started with my former bandmate, had some instrumentals, and he heard Top Line. He was like, I want to make these into pop songs. So, we kind of started collaborating that way. And I think, even before that, I'd always been interested in music. I was raised in a very musical household. My whole family's in the music business as well. So, it was very much like nurtured from a very young age. And actually, during this lockdown, my dad's been transferring old VHS family footage, and he found this like one clip where I think it was like 4 or something. I discovered his D50 synthesizer, which like all the synth nerds will know is like pretty cool. And I was a very high-strung child, but I sat at the keyboard for a good 10 minutes, maybe even more. I'm sure this was just like, a smaller clip. And played and got in the zone. I was in the zone. I was like, oh my God, I still like feel like I get in that zone. So I think it was just like nurtured, for a long time, and getting to travel and meet people. And there's nothing like the rush of playing live. Like it's pretty cool, the energy of the crowd and just your adrenaline that gets going. It's a pretty crazy feeling. So all of that combined is the answer.
Well, that is definitely true. It's funny how like all of these experiences and everything kind of mold you into the person that you have become, even though your creativity is very fluid. But it's like all these little experiences cement you into that kind of artist that I think you always were inside and that you always wanted to be. I think a lot of people out there, or a lot of artists out there, can really resonate with that and really agree with that it's like it's just something that they kind of have inside themselves. I mean, there's no manual on it. How do you become an artist? It's like, well, you just do what you want.
Yeah.
You do what feels natural to you.
Yeah, and you just kind of follow the trail. You know, I think like people who have found something they're passionate about, like, you know, they're very lucky to have that outlet, because you just like, you don't really know. Like, I don't really know if I ever like I want to be a singer, you know, or I want to be in a band, but just I always felt called to make music and called to write lyrics and looking for inspiration. Like, you know, a lot of things, a lot of experiences, you know, I always somehow, like in the back of my head, like will frame it in a musical way. Like, you know, traveling, I'm like, oh, that's like this experience, like this, you know, painting or whatever, like, oh, that's a cool title, like I'm gonna write that down, like maybe that'll turn into something. You know, it's always like collecting little things from your life experience, and you know, you just kind of do it.
Those are very wise words. You heard it right here from Holly Dodson, everybody. You know, you collect little things, like you get these little things and you save them for later, because you never know. You know, it's like, you know, a friend of mine, Dave Batts, is telling me, he goes, you know, you write something out, but don't throw it away because it's not a stupid idea. Because later on you can pull it back out again. And if it didn't work at that time, chances are later on in life it will come back and it will be something that can work at that point in time. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just your life, you know, like you have to pay attention to things. And I think it just goes to show, like, you know, if you really like listen to people, or if you are really kind of in the moment, like you won't even know, you'll just like collect inspiration for whatever is to come. And there's no expiry date on, you know, things that have inspired you. Sometimes I like, you know, we'll go back to 2016 and find a note that, you know, with some like random word that I wrote down. I'm like, okay, like cool, but I'll take it. Don't know where that came from, but I'll take it.
That's very true. I know a lot of times with, you know, with my music and things that I work on, it's like I'll have wrote something like 4 or 5 years ago, and then I'll just kind of go like, nothing that I'm working on right now sounds as good as I want it to be. So let me just dip back in there. Let me just dip back into the past and see where I was, where my mind was at that time. And then I end up digging it out and dusting it off and go, you know what? I'm going to build off of this because this was a great idea. Why did I ever get rid of it? And I think to myself, I go, oh, I remember, because at that point in time, you probably thought it was stupid. But it's not.
No. And like, even if you have a period of like writer's block or something, like I just say, and I try to tell myself this, like just don't delete it. You know, like save it, put it away, you know, put it on the back burner until sometime, and maybe you'll come back to it, maybe you never will, but you don't have to delete it, like no matter how frustrated you get. And I've been there so many times. But yeah,
because it's a part of you and it's an extension of you. It's your extension, an extension of your creativity in the end.
It's a weird and wonderful thing.
What are you looking forward to accomplishing the most moving forward?
Touring again one day, hopefully, in whatever capacity that is, and just putting out new music. You know, I think I've gotten to a point where I'm not as critical toward myself as I used to be when I was younger. You know, I kind of just, like I said earlier, just try to have a blank page in front of me and see what happens, as opposed to making rules for myself or basing what I'm creating on something that I've done in the past, you know, like, oh, I should write another like ultralight or whatever. Like, I don't know, that doesn't get me going. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to creating more, I think, and touring, just to continue on with what I'm doing, and hopefully, you know, get out and see people again.
Well, I look forward to seeing you on tour. I look forward to seeing you perform, hopefully here in LA soon. I would love to see you perform in LA. I mean, I know the last time that you were here in LA, I didn't have the chance to see you perform, but I do look forward to being able to be a part of that, or to be there seeing you live at some point.
Oh yeah, well one day we will be back. LA is definitely one of my favorite cities to play in. Top priority.
What positive message would you give your fans out there?
Just stay strong, and we're all going through a big collective grief right now. These are very unprecedented times, but I'm really feeling that sense of community. Like sometimes I'm not the best at social media, but when I log on, it's like I do feel more connected, and it's nice to see familiar names pop up. So just know that you're not alone. No one's alone in this. We're all experiencing this together, and we will get through it. And wash your hands. And we will rock and roll again one day, very soon.
Wise words right there. And it is so very important that we stay true, we stay the course. And yes, it's a very rocky road right now, but soon, the gray skies will part and there will be sunshine again. I mean, there is literal sunshine outside right now, as you can see. But the world will get better. And I think it's great to see artists like you still being creative and still working through this, and seeing you on your journey through all of this muck that we're in right now. And that's just great. It's just great.
Well, thank you. I'm really, I'm so grateful to be able to do this, and to have a place to go and a little escape, and it will pass. This will pass too. So, and at the end of it all, we'll all be back together and on some dance floor somewhere, and it'll be wonderful.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because when this is all over, everybody's going to want to travel. Everybody's going to want to go to shows. Everybody's going to want to go out to every nightclub they can hit up, because they're going to be itching for it. I'll tell you that, and I'll be right there with them too. So thank you again for sitting with us today, Holly. Thank you to everybody for tuning in and watching us have this conversation today. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our tourfiend.com YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a part of this. And you have a great day, okay?
You too.